morning, Central Texas. Welcome to KISS Community Connections at My KISS 1031. I'm Phyllis Jones, your host for this lovely, chilly morning. And, you know, it is lovely for me, and I'm glad we have it. You know, I told you every weekend until Election Day, we're going to discuss that topic of voting because we need to do it. So I'll say right now, at KISS 1031, we've all voted. We did. So guess what? I need to know what other organizations, groups, or whatever. I need to know whether you've already voted so that next weekend I can shout you out on the radio, because I want to know how many groups have voted. Are we voting? Have we challenged anybody? So I'll say, you know, right now, KISS, we're challenging everybody else. Since we voted, we want to know who else voted. So, you know, let us know who have. Yeah, we'll throw your name out there and say that you voted. But, you know, it's important that we do vote. Today being Sunday, normally is the day that you can't vote. But guess what? You can go vote today. Yes, it is Sunday, and you can go vote. You can go from noon to 5 p.m. In all of our counties. In all of Bell County, you can go to the same places you were early voting for before. If you live in Belton, you can go to the county courthouse annex on 2nd Avenue. If you live in Killeen, you can go to the county annex on Priest Drive, and you can go to the Killeen Community Center. Temple, you can go to Bell County Annex. Salado Civic Center. Harker Heights, you can go to the Parks and Recs on Miller's Crossing. You can go today. Yes, it's Sunday, and you can go vote today. Today usually is your chill back day anyway. You don't really plan anything, so go vote. Get up, go vote. Put your clothes on, just go. Just do so, because if we don't vote, we can't talk about it later on. You know, it's kind of hard to sit around and say, oh, you know, woe is me, I can't get a raise, these things can happen. Did you go vote? No. Now, for those of you who keep saying my vote don't count, then I need you to explain to me why we're having all these issues with voting. Why are we having machines that are flipping? What I mean by flipping, people that are voting straight parties, or machines are saying something differently. Why all these people's votes being voters from the registration rolls, they're being purged earlier than they were supposed to across different states. So if all these things are going on to stop you from voting, and you're going to now say my vote don't count, so why are they doing so much to stop it? And they're not just stopping, I'll say, a certain group of people. Some of them are purging just ballot votes, period. You know, they're purging. You're just purging on. We in Florida, we know they did that. Start purging people's vote who voted the same year, who did vote this year for something else. They purging their ballots. They're purging them. So to say that my vote don't count, if your vote didn't count, then they wouldn't be worrying about this. But all of a sudden, all this illegal activity, telling college students you can't register to vote unless you live here. All these things are going on, and we're going to say my vote don't count. I think you need to find a new story. Your new story need to be, I'm getting up and I'm going to go vote. So that should be the story that you use right now. Now, when you do go vote, when you do, some of us don't have your voter registration card with you. Your card. You need a form of ID. And there are 7 forms of ID that will be taken. Your driver's license, not all 7, but you got to pick one of the 7. Your driver's license, your personal identification card that you got from DPS. And that card is the card that people get. You have people who I'll say, can't get a birth certificate because of their age and where they're from. They didn't have a birth certificate at that time, so none was ever printed. So they went to DPS office, and you go get an ID card. Also, right now, today, if you are a registered voter, let's just say you're a registered voter, you know, but you don't have any other ID because you don't drive or whatever, you just go to DPS and you get the personal state ID card, and that allows you to go vote. So, you know, they did take care of that situation. Once they did the ID issue and making everybody have an ID, there was a remedy to the fact that you have people of certain ages that were born in certain places, they didn't get a birth certificate. Or their city or the county that they were born in didn't update when they put the birth certificate, when they started, you know, putting the birth certificates into the system, they just didn't put theirs in. So if you are a senior citizen, and usually senior citizens, and you don't have a driver's license, don't fear. You can get a Texas State ID from the DPS office. Okay, your other form of ID would be your United States citizenship certificate. I want to know what those look like. I've never seen one before. I think if I had to take the test to be a citizen, I'd probably fail. Beautifully fail. Also, you can take your Texas, I know, I'm going to say it too, your Texas concealed gun driver license. You can take that with you to go vote. Military, active duty, you can take your ID to vote. Your Texas election identification certificate, you can take that. And your United States passport, you can take all those with you as another form of ID when you go and vote. Also, if you registered to vote, and you're one of the ones who didn't show any ID when you registered, because when you register to vote, you do not have to show any ID. You really don't. But when you go vote, ID will be written on the side of where your name is to say ID, so you will have to show some ID at that time to go vote. You will have to show some, so don't get upset, don't get angry, just do it. Also, for those of you who moved, right smack dead in the middle, you moved, and you did not re-register to vote, let them know that you moved. Go back to, if you don't vote this week, and you wait till election day, just go back to vote where you used to live at. Wherever you used to vote at, go back there and vote, and then update your card with them. So if you move, don't go to the place where your address says this is where you go vote. Don't go there, because you're going to get turned away if you wait till November 6th to do so. If you wait till November, you need to go back to wherever you did vote at when you live, wherever you live. You need to go back there and vote, fill out the form, and then they will in turn get your card updated. So don't walk into a place that, hey, listen, I live over here right now. That's not going to work. And, I work as an election judge for the city, and a whole lot of people come and say that same thing. They'll come and say, well, you know what? I moved. And I'm going to look at you like, on this piece of paper right here, this is where you live. So, I'm going to send you back to wherever we will send you back to wherever you were. So to stop all that, stop us from having to do that, just go back to where you used to vote if you move and did not update your card. And if you want to wait till December 6th, because you do have people who staunchly only vote on election day. I don't know why, but you need to go now. Also, I was impressed because I had to wait in line to go vote. Normally, if I got to wait in line for something, I'm a little upset. But when I went to vote this week, I was happy to see a long line. I was glad because you know what? That meant that people were energized. That meant people were thinking. And also in line, I saw some people that were in their 20s. And I was like, yes, they're voting. I saw some people there in their 20s. And they were complaining about things that didn't affect me, but they affected them. And I was listening to their conversation because I wanted to know what it was about. And the things that they were voting about and raising Cain about, I'm not going to say they weren't important to us, but, it's more important to them. So I like the fact that they found something that they could sink their teeth into and say, you know what? It's not going to happen. We don't like this. So that's good because that means that they're paying attention. They're becoming more aware of what their rights are and how to utilize them. Because, it's one thing to know your rights. Second thing is how to utilize them. And the best way to utilize them is to vote. Because what we need to remember is the candidates, when we put them in office, they work for us. We don't work for them. And we need to quit letting them think that they need to quit thinking that we work for them. They work for us. We need to remember that. But you get candidates in there and do some stupid stuff, then you know what? It's time to let them know, excuse me, but you work for me. I don't work for you. And when we don't tap our candidates and say, listen, this is wrong, they assume that they can do what they want to do. And they do. They get up there and do what they want because we never contact them. We put them in office and then we leave them alone. We do. We put them in office, then we don't leave. We leave them alone then. And we just go saying, okay, I put them there. This is what they're going to do. Not necessarily so. Just like, when you send your child to school and you go, okay, school going to teach them everything. And you come back, no, they didn't. You forgot that it's your job to teach them to tie their shoes. It's your job to teach them a couple of things. So when they get there, still pay attention to how your legislator, your governor, and all these still pay attention to how they vote on issues that matter to you, because you get up there, they get up there and they'll vote on something and you go, that's not what I said I want them to vote on. That's not it. That isn't what where did they get that from? You will wonder that. And it's because we just let them, we voted and put them in there and we didn't check up on them. So you got to check up on them. Also, these candidates, when they say I'm speaking for you, if they haven't talked to you, they're not speaking to you. kind of hard for you to vote on what I want if you never talk to me to ask me what I want. So make sure candidates know what you want. Also, this Thursday, November 1st, excuse me, there's going to be a candidates forum between Killeen's LULAC, which is League of Latin American Citizens, and Killeen's NAACP. There's going to be a candidates forum 6 o'clock at the Killeen Community Center. I recommend that you go because there's, once again, you will have a chance to talk to candidates. You will have a chance to ask them questions. Please do not ask, are you going to raise my taxes? You know, we get there and we ask that one question. We do. And they're going to say no, but they're one of whoever that's sitting there. So your legislator can't say, no, I'm not going to raise taxes because he's not in control. You got a bunch of other people to vote for them. But don't ask those questions. They're more, I'll say, important questions that we need to ask them that hits home. I know taxes hit home, but there's other things we need to ask. You know, what are you going to do about safe schools? You know, what are we going to do about police violence that's kind of out of control? You know, what are we going to do to train policemen that if a man or a female gets out the car and they're deaf and they're talking with their hands, they're not throwing gang signs. They're actually trying to communicate to let you know that they can't hear or talk. So all those little things, which make a lot, because we've had those shootings happen, and you know, shooting a person that's deaf ed because he's signing to you does not sound exactly smart. So there's a lot of things that we need to ask our politicians about. You know, we need to ask them spending, you know, or how much are you willing to spend to put back into the schools? You know, because if a legislator now doesn't put money into the schools, and your governor and your congressmen and your senators don't put money into the schools, we won't be having kids who grow up to take their place. Because they won't be smart enough. They won't be ready enough. You know, right now, our schools, the more they put in, and the less and less you have time to do, we're not teaching kids to go further. We're teaching them basically to just maintain. Well, we're better than that. We need to do better. So I'm saying it again, go vote. I'm going to say it again, go vote. You know, there's no excuses. You can vote today, which is Sunday. You know, you could have voted yesterday, which was Saturday. So, just need to get out there and do it. You need to get out there and do it. And yesterday, I want to thank all the people who showed up at Chef Roz and at Elmo's restaurant for a Rock the Vote. They held a Rock the Vote, and it was very well turned out. And Rock the Vote is simply, it's not to tell you who to vote for. When someone tells you they're having a Rock the Vote event, what that is just to energize you to go voting. It's to give you out the free information that doesn't concern a party. Such as the information I've been telling you where to go vote at. I never told you who, I just told you where to go. I'm letting you know about the IDs that you can take with you. So when someone does a Rock the Vote campaign, don't think that it's for a certain party. All it is to energize you about voting, you know, to give you all the information you need so you can be smart when you go vote, giving you the cheat sheet that you need, all those things. But, you know, I rocked the vote, and I want to thank everybody for coming because it was great. It was a success. Also, those new machines that everybody's scared of, don't be scared of the new machine. The new machine is kind of cute. It's not harder. In fact, I think it's faster and it's easier because I kind of zoomed through it real good. My only thing, I had the little hiccup and I didn't realize it was going to go back to make sure I knew what I was doing. I didn't get that part, so, you know, I had to ask a question. Why is this thing going back again? And the man just said, it's making sure that you knew what you were doing. I'm like, okay, cool. But I think it was faster. It's not confusing. In fact, if you're, older, it's more visually for you to see it because you're looking at a screen rather than trying to squint up and down looking at a sheet of paper. So I would, let you know, you do have a choice at certain polling sites. You have a choice. You can use the old sheet of paper or you can use the computer with the little skinny sheet of paper. But I use the computer because I refuse to let technology be smarter than me. It's not going to happen. And I use it and it works. So don't be afraid of it. And I would say use it because guess what? You're going to be using it permanently anyway. So you might as well start using it now. It's not complicated. Like I said, it's there. And everything was easier to see for me. Anyway, I don't know about you, I didn't have to wear my glasses. I could just stand there, punch, 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 and it was really cool. So some sites you won't have a choice, which is true. You won't have a choice. But at the sites that you do, you walk in and see the computer, embrace it. Just like your cell phone. We embrace that too. So, and I'm going to throw Joe in there. Joe, when you voted, what'd you vote on?
Well, I voted in Coryell County, so it was a little different than what the Killeen.
Oh, so what do you all have?
They had the machines.
Okay.
It was pretty neat.
So we have both. We had the choice of both. Mm-hmm. So y'all have the machine?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Spinny knob.
Oh, so no, we don't have that. We inserted it in and pushed the buttons.
No, you punched in the number, then you had a little spinny knob to scroll up and down. And you hit the enter.
Oh, okay. Well, see, guess what? That's another machine, because we have you just search a rectangular card in there, and you go to each one and you push each one and push next and keep on going. Well, that's cool. So we have 3 different ways to vote across the Central Texas area. And your absentee ballot, senior citizens, please remember to get that absentee ballot sent off. And if you applied and never got it, please call somebody. Young people, some senior citizens that might be confused on this issue, help them out. And also you have some senior citizens that's going to go to that polling site and see that computerized machine and go, no. For real, no. Because those be the same senior citizens that we know that use their smartphone only to call people. That's it. That's it. They have a smartphone, but they don't use it smartly because they're just not going into the technology. You have senior citizens who don't have a computer. So when they get to the polling site and see that computer, they're going to go, no. The fear factor is going to set in. So you know what? If you can, go if you know somebody like that, go with them. Go with them. You don't have to tell them how to vote, but go with them to stand there with them, fill out the form that you're going to help them. You're not helping them on who to vote for. You're relaxing the fact that they're now looking at a computer that they are not smart with. And it's not that they're dumb. It's just that they refuse to learn to change. They refuse to learn to change, which is cute, I think, because, when we were growing up, they made you jump into the latest of everything. But now that we're grown up and they're older, we can't get them to jump into the latest thing, which I think is funny and it's cute because you're like, you told me to do it, now you won't do it. But go with a senior citizen if you can and vote. I know after I voted, this lady stopped me and asked me, is it the new machine in there? I said yes. And she asked me, what did I do? And I told her I used it. And she had me go over the steps to tell her what to do when she get in there. She had me go over those steps one by one by one. Luckily, I remember the steps one by one by one. So I told her, you insert the rectangular card and you do whatever it says afterwards. I told her it will say next. And, but she stopped me right then. What machine did you use? Quickly. And, I gave her the answers and she was like, so do you think I'd be okay? I'm like, I think you'd be better than okay. Yeah, and it was just that one piece of conversation. Did she know me? Nope, she didn't know me. But she just stopped me and asked me which one. And I explained to her so that when she went in there, she still had the little nervousness, but still she was kind of okay because she just talked to somebody who used it, who could tell her what it was all about. So we need to help everybody. We need to get out the vote. We need to give our little tushes. We need to stop complaining and whining and all those other things. We need to throw all those excuses out the window and just get your little butt up and go vote. And don't vote twice. Just go vote. And remember, convicted felons, if you're still on papers, you cannot vote. If you're off papers, you can vote. So let's take care of that and let's go vote. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So we're going to switch topics. And we're going to talk about something else that's a little more different, but it's also a part of concern because it's something I knew existed, but I didn't know the, what you want to call it, correct words. I know I'm sounding crazy. I didn't know the correct words for something, but we hear about domestic violence, all across the board, everywhere, all everywhere. And we all want to know who's doing what about it. Everywhere, all over the place. We want to know each entity, what are you doing about it? And we're also, at the same time, we see all these signs and we see all this verbiage of we support veterans and, You see all this everywhere. We support veterans. We support veterans. Written on stores, and you want to know really how much do they support veterans? Well, I came across an article, and I dug into it because it was talking about IPV and veterans, and I didn't know what IPV meant, and like anybody else, I thought IVP was a new disease. I was like, okay, here's another one. What is it? And then it said it deals with veterans, and I don't know. I didn't know what that meant, so I had to dig into it. And IPV is intimate partner violence. Joe's like, what the world? Joe's looking at me like, what? Where'd she get that from? Anyway, there's a group called Sea of Purple out of Arkansas, and they're bringing awareness to intimate partner violence. And I know the military had to have a different name for it, and that's okay. But what it is it's an intimate partner violence, and we know what that is. But it's a serious and preventable public health problem that affects millions of Americans. And during the month of October, since it is Domestic Violence Month, the Central Arkansas Veterans Healthcare System, employees, they've been wearing purple for the Sea of Purple, bringing more awareness to and urge victims to seek help. They notice that this is a big problem within the military because of different reasons, because of PTSD and not misplaced anger. And I'll say PTSD is misplaced anger. You get it, you don't know what to do with it, so naturally the people who suffer are those that are around you. Well, now the VA has, I guess I'll say, gave it a name, because when you give something a name, then you begin to do something about it, which is really bad that you have to give it a name to work it. So I had to learn that IPV, and remember that, is intimate partner violence. And it deals with active duty and retired soldiers. It also deals with their family. So it's not so much all about the soldier. You know what I mean? We're just going to treat his syndrome of having IPV. And they even have T-shirts for it, but it's not only going to protect him, they're also talking to the family members that it has happened to. And I'm not going to say service members as far as male, because women as well as men do the same thing. They both have PTSD, some of them do. So it's not an abuse on just men abusing women, it's women abusing men. But the good part about it is that the military has named it for one, which means they recognized it, and that they're talking to the family, not just the soldier or the retiree. Because, when you only talk to one person, you don't solve a problem. Actually, most times you create a bigger problem. Because now I'm telling you what you have, and I'm attacking you, and you're going to attack somebody else. And so it's, and I'm going to find out, do they do this in Texas or Bell County? I'll contact the VA here to find out what do they do about this huge emotional problem that they find they have. And it's saying for partners, they talk about partners, so partners would be non-married too. So that's really good. And I like the fact that they've realized that some of the sexual assaults are due to IPV. So, like me, don't think IPV is a new disease. It was actually an acronym for an issue that's going on amongst our service members. So, when we say we support our soldiers, make sure that we really do support our soldiers. It's easy to put a banner up and say we support, and then you feel good, you pat yourself on the back, I got it up there, I did it. But no, we see there's more, not that we didn't know, but there's more issues being identified and brought to the top that are deal with our soldiers. So if we really care about our soldiers the way we say we do, then we need to learn about these things. I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know, but I knew that it happened, but I didn't know the name, but now I do. So now I'll ask people, do you know what this is? Do you know what that is? Do you know? And, most people are going to tell me, no, they didn't know. And it's not bad that you didn't know, but now that it's out there, we need to know. And we need to know that, like I said, that the military is not only talking to just soldiers and leaving everybody out. They're also talking to family members that it really affect. And we know that's the most important thing that they can do is talk to family members. Because a lot of times you find out when these things happen, the only people they talk to are just the family. They don't, I mean, just the service member or the retiree, and they don't talk about the family or talk to them. So they're left in limbo of what do I do and where do I seek services at.